in 1975, it was her American debut
in San Francisco.
And
Adriano.
No, Trovatore. And they
asked me to conduct that, and Pavarotti was the tenor, and my wife, Joan Sutherland, was the Leonora. And she was wonderful. She was an extraordinary surprise because this was a voice of such wonderful quality and size and control. She was able to sing beautiful piano, very beautiful legato line, and yet make also very big sounds when she needed to. She was a very, very great artist, and it was a great pleasure to work with her. That was the beginning of our relationship. Yes. We became very great friends, and I knew her for very many years, and we did a few other things together, and she of course asked me to come several times for her competition, and we worked. We were on competitions together also in Austria and Italy, and I got to know her very well. She was a lovely lady, full of fun.
Yeah, yes. And was she a Russian artist, a Russian singer?
Oh, the sound was very Russian. Yes.
Very Russian.
Oh, yes.
What is the quality? What is
well,
the Russian
I
quality?
don't know. It's a big, opulent sound on the whole, and I would say it's very Russian, but don't ask me how to describe that. I don't think I can.
Is Shalatin's voice also a Russian voice?
I suppose so.
Yes?
Yes, I think so.
You think so? And that of Atlanta, for example?
Well, I mean, Russian.
So it's very important for us to understand what is the Russian sound, the Russian voice.
Well, the Russian voices tend to be bigger than a lot of other voices. They're very healthy voices. Unfortunately, a lot of them don't learn to sing the correct way. That's another story.
Yes, we know.
I think that the teaching here is very bad, but then the teaching is bad all over the world. So
yes,
what can you say?
You know, in my youth years, that was a catastrophe in the Bolshevik, since they were all false in singing, always false, great big voices, but always end. The first was Archipov, who sang with a real exact notes.
Yes.
That was very, very important for us.
No, I noticed that in sitting in the competitions, a lot of them sing out of tune. They're not right on the middle
Yes,
of the
now
notes.
it is the other tendency. We have a lot of good voices, and but they are not big voices, not large voices. They are all
that's
European voices.
That's the tendency all over the world now.
Yes.
I mean, where are the great basses? Where are the great mezzo-sopranos?
No.
They don't exist.
No, they don't exist.
Because in the 50s, 60s, 70s, we had many major voices.
But the quality of the singing is now much better.
Oh, I think, I think people are studying a little more than they used to. I mean, I remember back in the 50s you would have very famous singers who couldn't read music at all. But I think that sort of thing doesn't really happen anymore.
Yes. And what was your of course there were the lessons, they were, you make the part with Yelena also before the performances. What was her style in learning,
She was very interested to hear another opinion. She was not slow to change her way of doing things if she thought you had a different idea or maybe a better idea. She was a lovely lady to work with because she wasn't in the theatre. She wasn't an egotist. She sang with the other singers. She was a very good colleague. And I can hear her now to this day singing Azucena. We did it after all many times in San Francisco and then again in the Metropolitan Opera and again in Covent Garden.
Yes, I know that this series of the performances of Trovatore in Covent Garden with your wife also. Vajo Chachal has told me about this performance since he was there at that time. Was she nervous before the performance? before the films?
I didn't notice that she was particularly nervous.
No.
But she knew what she was doing.
Yes.
You know, the people that are the most nervous are the people that are most insecure, usually.
Yes, yes.
She really knew her work.
Yes. And where's some quarrels, some discussions how to sing, and she was not d'accord with you?
I never had any quarrels with her at all.
No.
In many ways it was quite strange because we were perhaps more or less on the same wavelength. We thought about things in the same way.
I see.
You know, she wanted to make music.
Mm.
She wasn't interested only in just making a sound and singing. And she wanted to make drama also
Yes.
in the theatre. And she was a complete artist.
Mm.
And I worked with her over many years. I mean, I was first in '75, and then the last time, I don't know what it was, I forget what date, because I'm not very good at remembering dates, but I
Yes.
think around 2004, 5, something like that. We did Adrienne Couvreur very late in her career.
I see. And how was the contact with your wife?
Oh, they loved each other. They got on fine. Yes, yes. Well, you know, two very great singers, and neither wanted to try to outdo the other. They both loved it. They liked to hear each other, and they sang together very, very well.
They sang together Trovatore.
Trovatore.
And what more?
No, I think that's the only one.
That's the only one. That's in, before in America and then in London.
In London,
Yes. And what were the other roles with Elena that you made together?
Well, mostly just bits and pieces and concerts. You know, Adrienne Couvreur said, no, I don't think you're the full. I wish.
Yes, and in singing Italian roles, yes, she was a Russian artist. And was it heard in her Italian, in her phrasing, in something more than the sound that she was Russian?
I think she sang Italian roles wonderfully. Because it's not always the Italians that sing them the best, to be honest.
No.
There are many, or there were many great Italian singers, especially in the past.
Yes.
But today, less.
I see.
Oh yeah, Elena was, she understood style. And she could sing in French very beautifully. She could sing recitals very beautifully. And she had a huge voice. She could control it and sing with the smallest amount of really beautiful sound, a very beautiful mezzo voce.
Yes, yes. In the last years, so 10 years before her death, she has made a concert, a Liederabend with French melody and Lieder, and the whole thing was mainly mezzo voce.
I heard her sing. Yeah, I heard her sing in Barcelona, a whole recital, very late in her, very beautiful. That's beautiful. And quite unexpected, you know, because one thinks of her as having a huge voice, but she could sing really intimately.
Yes, and you know, after her death, there was a obituary in the Opernwelt, in the German journal, and they have written, she was never good in style, she was very good on stage. Why do they say so? Why do they think so?
A lot of people write in newspapers, and some of them have no reason and no right to express their opinion because they don't know much.
Yes.
I think Elena was a great artist.
Yes.
You can criticize her, you can criticize anybody in certain ways. But you can only say of her that she was a very great singer and a very great artist.
Yes, I think so.
She also had her faults. I mean, everybody has.
Of course,
her faults.
everybody.
She could sing out of tune sometimes.
Yes,
but,
yes,
you know, I
of
suppose
course.
most
For
people.
example, here in St. Petersburg, she sang one day Mussorgsky, the songs of death, and it was, I didn't like it. How they did it.
Well, nobody's perfect. We all have our off days.
Of course. There's maybe some faults and some errors, and some unsuccesses, of course. And she had always success when you were with her in this.
Oh, she had enormous success, and she came to Australia, and they loved her out there.
Yes.
my son fell absolutely in love with her. And I think she adored him too. It was very nice to see.
Yes. Thank you.
Pleasure, pleasure. Sorry I kept you waiting. Have you done many of the...
Yes.